Hi Gemini, and welcome to your weekly tarot forecast for January 6th through 12th, 2020. This week we have the full moon on the 10th in Cancer along with a lunar eclipse. So this is a week where everybody is going to be a little bit sensitive, feeling their emotions, Gemini, and also with this eclipse, this is a full moon, so there's a manifestation, a completion, a fulfillment that comes with it. And for many of you, this will be attached to the Cancer new moon eclipse that happened in 2019 on July 2nd. So for some of you, think back to what was going on. What were you thinking about? What was beginning to change and happen in your life, back in July of 2019? Because there's a manifestation, a completion of that coming with this full moon. And if it's not attached to that new moon, it's attached to some other new moon that has taken place, in 2019. Because full moons are all about manifestation. All right, Gemini. Oh, and I did do a 2020 eclipse reading to give you an idea, because we have 6 of them, and Gemini, we have an eclipse in your sign, so you might want to check that video out just to see how it's going to impact you. All right, let's see what your overall energy is for this week. All right, so we have air. So Gemini, this coming out as overall energy, you are very empowered because you are an air sign and the air vibes are all around you. Lots of things going on in your mental body. You could be connecting dots, really analyzing, assessing, reviewing. Communication is also attached to this card, and learning. So you may be very much in your head, kind of wanting to be in your own space this week, just really analyzing and sorting things out. But also with that, there's a communication. I don't feel like you want to communicate, though. I feel like people are wanting to talk to you and unload on you and tell you all these things, and you're just kind of like, no, I'm really not wanting to listen to you. I don't have time for you. You're very much in yourself, Gemini. Let's see what that's all about. All right, pleasure is a freedom song. Pleasure, that is why we are inside ourselves. Gemini, you don't have time for anybody's nonsense this week. You're just not interested. If somebody wants to have a conversation with you, fine. But if it's the same tired conversation, the same old nonsense, BS, same story, you're checking out. Like, you can't deal with that. And, that could come through a multitude of ways. Like, you could have a friend that it's the same thing week after week, drama, it never changes and always come to you, and maybe most of the time you're happy to listen and offer the same advice you've offered 100 times before. But this week, you're not having it, Gemini. And I feel like you're going within yourself, because just usually you can really control yourself. And if people are on your nerves or just aggravating, annoying, foolish, whatever it is, you could tolerate it and you just smile and you flow and it's all good. This week, you're not in the mood. All that kind of stuff, you hold back because you're apt to be like, let me just tell you what I really think, or let me just connect the dots for you since you can't seem to figure it out. It's the same story, like say a girlfriend and her, crazy toxic relationship, a boyfriend. You're like, it's the same thing. Are you ever going to learn? And, the reason why I feel like you're holding back in those situations is because you don't have the normal empathy and compassion that you typically would for people, which is interesting because this is a full moon in Cancer. But I think for you guys, because the air is coming in so strong, it's empowering that mental body, being very, very logical, and you're just not interested in emotional drama and the same thing over and over. You don't want to clean up other people's messes. You don't want to, sound like a broken record anymore. You're just done with that. So unless somebody has something interesting to say or worth your time, you're not going to participate, Gemini. And not participate, even if you have a lot you could say, you're not even going to. You're just going to pull back and kind of go within yourself. So let's pull some tarot, because with the pleasure here, there's some happiness going on. There's maybe you're just in a really good space this weekend. That's why you're like, nope, not putting up with your crap, not worrying about you. I'm tired of it. So let's take a look. Ace of Stone. That is very promising, and it says protection and prosperity. Rider of Water, ethereal, enticing. Oh, okay, so you guys got some earth energy coming through this week, and you also have that there, you know, with that Ace of Stone. And now we have the High Priestess coming through. And last, the Five of Water. Yeah, there's that drama that you're not having any part of. All right, Gemini, let me just get these sorted. So it looks like you are very focused on trying to achieve something for yourself this week, Gemini, and that's why you don't have the energy to expend to anybody else. It really does need to be about you and what you need to do for yourself, take care of for yourself. And I right here with the Rider of Water, I do see beautiful heart-to-heart conversation that you do have. Like there is, you know, a conversation that you're sharing with somebody about like a prosperity, abundance, well-being, maybe spiritual matters, emotions, just really heart-to-heart, and it's like solid. All right, but then there's also this other energy coming in where it's the same old tired story, and you know it in your soul, and you just don't have time anymore. And the reason why I don't feel like you're just like laying it out there for somebody is because your soul is like, it's not even worth your time. It will fall on deaf ears. All you'll do is hurt and damage. You know, this person will not see the light, and that's why you're at a soul level, you're just really held back, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to disconnect and pull away. And you might even like just ghost somebody, just cut them off, cut them out because of that, because you're at that point, Gemini, where it's like you have to fake and pretend because you can't really ever express what you're thinking and feeling for this person. It's like you got to be a yes man, and that's just not who you are. And you know, you've accommodated that for the sake of like somebody else's feelings, like compassion, empathy, being a decent human being, you know. And now it's just that situation, that person, whatever that is, it's a lost cause for you. It would just like, there's nothing you can say or do, Gemini. It will fall on deaf ears. And maybe that's another reason why you're pulling back, because they're asking for help again, maybe some financial help, some resources. And you're like, I can't, okay? You're a grown person. You should be able to handle your own, you know, situations. I handle my situations and your situations. It's too much for me. I've got to worry about myself. Also, Gemini, with this Ace of Stones and the Earth energy, this is a week where an unexpected opportunity, you know, potentially career-wise could show up for you, where you are just like, just have a, you know, inclination to browse a job website, and this perfect job, definitely apply for it, even if you're okay with where you're at, Gemini, because definitely an opening of abundance knocking on your door right there. So if you feel that pull, just take a look. If somebody, you're just talking to somebody and it networks, and oh, there's this job, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'd be perfect for that, apply for it. Some of you, you know, could be where you have been working towards some improvement in career in your financial sector, and this week, you know, there's the manifestation with that full moon energy coming in. So ultimately, Gemini, I see it being very positive for you. We do have the Pleasure is a Freedom Song, so there's happiness going on with this Ace of Stone, this Earth energy, and this Rider of Water. Like, good things are going on for you. There's this other situation where you've really just got to distance and cut yourself off, and you know, don't lay it on them. Don't speak your mind. It's not like, you know, I'm saying, to be a doormat, but it's like whatever you have to say, even though I feel it's solid truth and fact, it would only hurt and damage that person or that situation because they're not in a place vibrationally to receive the truth. Like they can't face it. And this Cancer full moon with the eclipse is all about deep soul truth coming to the surface. And you have the high priestess here, Gemini. So you see things for what they are, and you might want to express that, but it's really not going to be worth your time. You just need to observe and then, you know, make the choices for yourself from that space. And maybe sometime in the future, you know, there can be an explanation given. But right now, I just don't feel like, you know, whatever you have to say here is going to be heard properly or received properly because of where that person's at vibrationally. And it will just cause like more hassle and heartache. So if you have to like have a really heavy conversation with somebody, this may not be the best week for that, just because it's not that you lack compassion and anything like that. You're just not in the mood, Gemini. You're not. And in that space, your filter may be missing a bit, and you don't want that. So, you know, any sort of heavy conversation that you have to have with somebody, like you're like, nope, I've got to have this talk. Maybe wait till the weekend or next week after this Cancer full moon energy and everybody's not so touchy and emotional, because I just don't feel it will be received the way that you try to, you know, put it out there, just due to the energy in that Cancer full moon lunar eclipse. And Gemini also, lastly, one final message with all of this is with this eclipse energy, somebody might want to talk to you and express to you like some sort of remorse and things like that. I don't know that you're so interested. I really don't. If somebody tries to come to you this week and smooth things over, apologize, even if they're like taking full accountability, I don't know. You look kind of done. You're in this like in between world space this week where you're doing good. It's just I feel people around you aren't so, you know, in a good vibe. And there's some people that you are all about, you know, connecting with and being there for because it's it's authentic. And then there's just this weird, funky energy I see you pulling back from. All right, let's pull some advice. All right, success. I am successful in all that I do. Yeah, see, I know this is a good week for you, Gemini, but there's this funky energy. Maybe like all the good stuff that's playing out for you, if somebody else, if a certain person found out about it, they'd be really upset and sad and triggered for whatever reason. So again, if that's the case, just hold off till next week of making an announcement and all of that. Just because the energy of this full moon, people might be oversensitive and take things the wrong way. But Gemini, you look good this week. So those are your messages. I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.